YNR Spoilers Full episode Monday, April 14, 2025 reveals the story between Jack Abbott and Victor Newman is reaching its tense climax, with every move in this battle of wits fraught with risks and unexpected changes. The appearance of Michael Baldwin in this war, with his dramatic turn against Victor, will increase the risk of crisis at the Newman Corporation, an empire that Victor has worked hard to build and protect over the years. Michael Baldwin, who was considered a loyal ally of Victor, now chooses to side with Diane Jenkins and Jack Abbott. What made him change? Michael, with his sharp strategies and astute financial thinking, realizes that if he continues to be loyal to Victor, he will never be able to change the game of personal ambitions that Victor always tries to impose on everyone around him. The insecurity of being an ally of someone as scheming as Victor gradually becomes a burden for Michael, and after witnessing Victor's manipulations many times, he decides to turn his back on him. At the same time, the relationship between Jack and Diane is also developing in a more complicated direction. Diane feels excluded from the Abbott family when Jack hides secrets related to Alan Laurent, who is actually Martin Laurent, a character that Diane should have known well, since she is an important part of this story. This concealment creates a sense of separation in Diane, and a part of her feels betrayed. However, Jack, with his relentless efforts, still tries to integrate Diane into his family. However, the secrets of the past and the tension in his relationship with Victor will make things not as easy as he thinks. Diane, a calculating and shrewd person, will soon realize that her relationship with Jack is not just about love or attachment, but also an opportunity for her to rebuild her power in the Abbott world. Diane will not only act as a woman beside Jack, but will also play an important role in the next phase of the war between Jack and Victor. Kyle Abbott, although still a filial son and has respect for Victor, will gradually realize that the true value of family is irreplaceable. Although Victor always tries to manipulate Kyle as a pawn in his game, Kyle will eventually have to face the truth that his father does not see him as a worthy heir but simply a tool to fulfill his ambitions. Gradually, Kyle will realize that, despite being the head of a powerful empire, Victor cannot provide him with what he truly needs: the sincerity and loyalty of the Abbott family. When Jack and Kyle uncover troubling events at Jabot, they will quickly act to protect the corporation from Victor's machinations. Diane and Jack's relationship will deepen as Diane becomes an indispensable ally in this fight. Together, they will unravel Victor's secrets and his machinations at Jabot, which will cause Victor to face dire consequences, not only for the business but also for his family. In this struggle, each will face difficult choices and relationships will be tested. Diane, once marginalized, will now become a key player, not only in the fight against Victor but also in rebuilding trust and affection within the Abbott family. Things will no longer be as simple as they were before, as Jack, Diane and Kyle must face great challenges to protect the family values they have always held dear. The battle between Jack Abbott and Victor Newman is entering a tense phase, as the plots become more complex and complicated than ever. However, it is worth noting that Diane Jenkins, who has returned to Genoa City with a clear goal and an ambitious strategy, will play an indispensable role in this struggle. Diane is not only a strong and intelligent woman, but also a person who is capable of manipulating situations and relationships to achieve her goals. In the battle between Jack and Victor, Diane will not only be Jack's supporter but also an important strategist. After Jack and Kyle discover some troubling incidents related to Jabot, especially the presence of Victor's spy in the corporation, they will decide to take action. They will not simply confront Victor's plots but also have to deal with important information that can change the course of the war. And Diane will be behind these important decisions, as she participates in a strategy meeting with Jack, outlining the next steps to deal with Newman. Diane will constantly create strategic connections to put pressure on Victor and increase support from allies. One of the important relationships that Diane will exploit is her friendship with Michael Baldwin, a figure who is not only a big influencer in the Abbott world but also an important partner of Victor. However, Michael is also a very cautious and wise person, always knowing where the limit is when facing Victor. Diane, realizing this weakness, will decide to approach Michael and try to extract information from him, taking advantage of their long-standing friendship to be able to turn the situation in Jack's favor. With her cunning and sharp negotiating skills, Diane will convince Michael that cooperating with Jack is the best choice for him in the context of the increasingly fierce war between corporations. However, Michael will not fall into this trap easily. He knows that he cannot go against Victor without paying a heavy price. As someone who knows Victor's strength and power, Michael will face a difficult decision. Can he stand by Jack without losing everything he has built with Victor? Despite the difficult situation, Michael will realize that he may not be able to remain neutral for long. But the truth is, no matter how much pressure Michael is under, he may still have to continue to stay on Team Victor. The relationship between Michael and Victor, although complicated and not always pleasant, has a solid foundation that is difficult for anyone to break. Michael will have to choose between maintaining his friendship with Diane and protecting the interests of the Newman family. This will be a crucial turning point in the war between the powerful families, when Michael will have to struggle with himself to find out what is right. Meanwhile, Nikki Newman, who has always been known for her ability to see things from multiple perspectives, will try to maintain her role as the peacekeeper within the Newman family and between Newman and Abbott. However, as the rivalry between the corporations becomes increasingly intense, Victor will not give in easily. He will continue to stick to his guns, refusing to back down no matter how convincing Nikki's advice is. Victor, with his tough nature and foresight, understands that giving in will only weaken Newman's position in the fight against Abbott. Therefore, no matter what Nikki does, Victor will stand firm, ready to fight to the end to protect his empire. This war, not only between Jack and Victor but also between the families in Genoa City, promises to continue to escalate with surprises and calculated strategies. Diane, with the help of Jack and her important relationships, will be an indispensable piece in turning the situation around. However, what matters is whether she can carry out her plans without losing the trust of those around her, especially Michael, who will face a harsh choice in whose side to side with. The war between the powerful families in Genoa City continues to be tense, especially when Victor Newman continues to deploy sophisticated tricks to confront the Abbott family. After many years of asserting his position, Victor clearly understands that to protect the Newman empire, he cannot rely only on his own strength but must also use all tactics to overwhelm his opponents. Victor's tricks in the coming time will not only drag the Abbott family into the vortex of power but also push the relationships within this family to unprecedented levels of tension. Victor and the trap for Billy Abbott in the relentless struggle with the Abbott family. Victor cannot ignore Billy Abbott, whom he considers a dangerous opponent. Billy, with his intelligence and determination, always seeks to bring Abbott to new heights. However, to Victor, Billy is a threat that needs to be controlled. So Victor will create an elaborate trap, not only to put Billy in a difficult position but also to weaken his trust in those around him. Billy will not easily realize that he is being tricked by Victor, and when he does, the trap is already set. This will put Billy in a difficult position, forcing him to choose between protecting the Abbott family or continuing to confront Victor. However, this trap will not only affect Billy but also have a profound impact on his relationship with his family members. Lily and Damian, a challenging relationship. Lily Winters has always tried to build trust and connection with Damian, a complex and mysterious man. After making certain progress in convincing Damian to open up, Lily will quickly realize that this path is not as easy as she thought. Damian will put forth a condition that will make Lily feel disappointed. This not only tests Lily's faith but also puts her in a difficult situation, as she is forced to seek help from Amy Lewis. Lily will have to face the difficulty of maintaining honesty and trust, especially when Damian's conditions are not easy to accept. These conflicts will put a strain on Lily and Damian's relationship, and whether Lily can find a way to resolve it remains an open question. However, help from Amy may be the key to Lily overcoming this challenge. Audra and her risky strategies. Audra has always been a controversial character with her bold nature and sharp strategies. This time, she will carry out a special mission given by Victor, and this will surprise many people. Audra will not hesitate to use any means to achieve her goals, and this includes using Kyle's feelings for her own benefit. Kyle Abbott, one of the Abbotts, will be surprised by Audra's actions, and she will not miss the opportunity to exploit Kyle's attention for her own benefit. Audra will try to ruin Kyle's romance with Clare, which will not only create turmoil in Kyle's relationship but also push him into an internal war between the Abbott family and Victor's schemes. Meanwhile, Audra will have to face Nate, who is always cautious and not easily deceived. Audra will risk lying to Nate to achieve her goals, but this may put her in a difficult position from which she will not be able to escape. If Audra is not careful, she will face serious consequences when all her plans are discovered. Tracy and Ashley, a meaningful trip amidst the tensions and turmoil in the Abbott family. Tracy and Ashley will take an important trip to New York. This is not only a getaway from the troubles surrounding the Martin family, but also an opportunity for Tracy to find peace of mind. After the long-standing conflicts and dark secrets surrounding Martin, Tracy will have time to relax, recharge, and think about the next direction in her life. Tracy will not only find peace but also find new ways to cope with the troubles in her family. Ashley's support will be important, as the two sisters will share their worries and feelings that have never been expressed. This trip will be a turning point in Tracy's life, helping her regain the strength and determination to face the challenges ahead. Nick, Sharon, and London holiday. While the Abbott family is facing constant turmoil, Nick, Newman and Sharon will have a peaceful holiday in London with Faith and Christian. This is the perfect time for them to relax and strengthen their relationship that has been through many challenges. This holiday will be an opportunity for Nick and Sharon to reflect on the past, gain a better understanding of their feelings and choices in life. However, Victoria's presence will add to the tension as she searches for answers about Nick's feelings for Sharon. Victoria will be on the lookout for a chance to get Nick and Sharon back together during this holiday. Victoria's intervention will put Nick and Sharon's relationship to the test, and no one can predict what the future holds. Victoria and her relationship with Nick. Victoria Newman has always been sharp and intelligent, but on this vacation she is faced with difficult questions about Nick's feelings for Sharon. Victoria will wonder if fate will bring Nick and Sharon back together, and whether she can continue to hold on to what she has built with Nick in this situation. While Victoria will seek answers about Nick's feelings for Sharon, the truth may not be what she expected. Meanwhile, Nick and Sharon's relationship will face major challenges as they face difficult decisions about their future. Amidst the constant battle between the powerful families of Genoa City, the complex relationships are becoming more tense and complicated than ever. The characters on The Young and the Restless are facing severe challenges, forcing them to make important decisions that will not only affect their personal futures but also their family, work, and romantic relationships. Clare Grace Newman, tough choices and Victor's threats. Clare Grace Newman, a promising young member of the Newman family, is facing a major decision in her life. Kyle Abbott makes a convincing offer, encouraging Clare to move in with him, which will not only completely change her life but also affect the relationships within the family. This offer makes Clare think carefully about what she wants for her future. However, this move will not be easy for Victor Newman, who values control and power in the family. Victor, not wanting to lose influence over Clare, will pressure Audra Charles, a strategic figure in his plans, to speed up the progress of the plans she is carrying out. Audra will receive an urgent request from Victor, asking her to speed up her steps to ensure that his schemes are not interrupted. Clare and Kyle's relationship will become a highlight in the power struggle between Victor and the Abbott family, as Clare's decisions could change the course of this struggle. Audra Charles, facing Holden Novak's flirtation and the danger with Nate Hastings while Clare is struggling with her choices. Audra Charles, a smart and ambitious woman, will have to face another threat in the form of Holden Novak. Holden, who has a complicated relationship with Audra's past, will not hesitate to use her weaknesses to get closer to his goal. With Holden's charming and skillful flirting, Audra will be pushed into a difficult situation. Her relationship with Nate Hastings, a man whom Audra once considered a trustworthy partner, may soon be threatened. Audra, who has always known how to use her beauty and intelligence to achieve her goals, will not easily fall into Holden's trap. However, this situation will force her to make a choice between continuing to maintain a stable relationship with Nate or exploring the new feelings that Holden brings. Audra's relationship with Nate, which has already shown signs of tension, will be severely tested. If Audra is not careful, she may lose the man she trusts, while being unable to control the development of her relationship with Holden. In that context, Audra will have to fight her emotions and face the potential consequences of bad decisions. Can she maintain her relationship with Nate, or will she let herself be swept away by Holden's charm? That is the question that Audra will have to find the answer to. Michael Baldwin. Facing an ultimatum from Lauren in an equally tense development, Michael Baldwin, one of Genoa City's veteran characters, will have to face a difficult situation from Lauren Baldwin, his loving but equally strong wife. Michael, who is a smart man and has great influence in legal and work relationships, will be put in a difficult situation when Lauren gives him an ultimatum related to his job. Lauren, although always loving Michael, will not hesitate to ask him to make an important choice. She wants Michael to be decisive in his work and not let personal problems affect his career. However, Michael, with his complicated nature and tense relationships in the business and legal world, will not easily accept this request. The confrontation between Michael and Lauren will not only be a struggle about work but also a challenge for their marital feelings. Lauren asks Michael to choose a clear direction in his career, but this may push him into a psychological crisis. Can he continue to pursue the big plans he is working on, or will he have to stop to please his wife? Michael will face a difficult choice when he has to consider between protecting his family and maintaining his career. Confrontations, choices, and risky relationships. These events create a complex and tense chain of events in the lives of the characters on The Young and the Restless. Claire faces a crisis of choice between the Abbott family and the Newman family, as Victor pressures her. Audra must deal with mixed feelings between her personal and professional goals, while her relationship with Nate is on the brink of collapse. Michael, meanwhile, must deal with Lauren's demanding work, which may force him to choose between his career and his family. Life in Genoa City is never without its ups and downs, and intrigue, relationships, and difficult choices will continue to be key elements in the development of the story. Each character will face important challenges and decisions, as every action and word can change the fate of their entire family and their future. The relationships between Clare, Audra, Michael, and the other characters will not only be power struggles, but also tests of their emotions, loyalties, and personal values. Under the bright lights of Genoa City, these relationships will continue to be tested, and no one can predict the final outcome.